Hello, science students. Today we are going to finish the worksheet on the plant cell. Yesterday, depending on what class you're in or what day you did this, your plant cell worksheet should look pretty similar to this. Some of you may have more color coding than others. That's okay. But today our focus is the bottom half of the paper. Okay? We want to talk about the cell parts, what they're called, the organelle's name, and the function or what it does. So that is the focus of this video, is defining each of these parts and also talking about what it does. So we're going to start with number 14. Number 14 is the nucleus. It is the blue, in my picture right here, this giant blue part of the cell. So I believe a lot of you probably have the word nucleus color-coded blue. So I'm going to do that real quick. Not necessary for you if you have not done it. Let's give the definition for it. It's the same definition that we used in the animal cell. The nucleus is known as the boss of the cell. Okay? It controls everything. It controls everything that happens in the cell. Okay? And another very important thing you have to know for our study on cells is this is the part of cell where the DNA is. Okay? So it contains, Mrs. Chaparro's having trouble spelling today, contains DNA, period. Okay? So this is the function that you need to have written down for number 14. Nucleus, the boss of the cell, controls everything in the cell, contains DNA. Hit pause if you need to and get that written down. Next is number 15. Number 15 in your chart is this area around the nucleus. It's called the ER, number 8 if you're looking for a number. And the ER is scientifically known as the endoplasmic reticulum. And the endoplasmic reticulum is generally always around the nucleus. And let's write down the function. So with your pencil, basically the ER, or the endoplasmic reticulum, it moves proteins around the cell. It moves them around. That's basically its only job. Moves proteins around the cell. Okay. I would like you to please also write in this line that this is called the ER. Okay. Is also called ER. That's its short name. Remember, it does not mean emergency room. It means endoplasmic reticulum. Its only job is to move the proteins around. Next is our cell wall. Now, this is a difference from an animal cell. Only plant cells have cell walls. And that's this thick area around the cell. And as you can see me putting my pointer on here, you can see it's kind of lighting up as I move around. That's the cell wall. The cell wall is basically to give the cell structure. So let's write this function. Gives the cell structure and, whoops, wrong button, and protection. Okay, gives the cell structure and protection. So many plants, they grow up out of the ground and stand tall, and that's because of this cell wall. It helps the plant stand up. Number 17. The ribosomes, you can see right here, there are these little black dots in this example. They have the same function as in a plant cell. Their only job is to make proteins. Make proteins. They're little black dots in the example. Okay, write that all down. Little black dots in the example. They make proteins. That's their job. Next, we have number 18, which is the cytoplasm. Remember, the cytoplasm is basically everything but one of these pieces, like the mitochondria, the chloroplast, or the nucleus. It's what everything kind of sits around and floats in. Scientists call this a jelly-like material where the organelles, or the cell parts, kind of float around in. So let's write our function. Everything inside the cell except the nucleus. Okay. Next is number 19, the nucleolus. If you're looking at your paper, that's up here, number 9. It's the center or the smaller portion of the nucleus where this green circle is filled in. And the nucleolus is made of protein and RNA, and it makes the ribosomes. So let's write that down. Made of protein and RNA makes ribosomes. Okay, get that written down, and we're moving on to 20. Remember, guys, if you need to hit pause anytime, do so you can make sure your functions or your definitions are copied down just like mine. Number 20 is Golgi body, and Golgi body is right here, number 11 on our example. It's the Wi-Fi symbol that so many of you feel like this looks like the Wi-Fi symbol, but here's its function. The Golgi body puts together and moves proteins. Oh, that's not the word moves. Moves proteins from the ER to other parts of the cell. That's kind of a long definition, but you guys got this. You can get that in there. Puts proteins together and puts together and moves proteins from the ER to other parts of the cell. Go ahead and hit pause and get that written down. Number 21 is cell membrane. And cell membrane, it is the same function as in an animal cell. Surrounds the cell and controls what gets in and out of the cell. Okay, surrounds the cell and controls what gets in and out of it. Go ahead and hit pause if you need to get this written down correctly. We only have a few more, guys. 22, 23, 24, 25, and 26. Okay, let's move on to number 22, cytoskeleton. So the cytoskeleton, if you look back at your example, it's these pieces. They look like little sticks or bones. There's a group here and a group right up here. But the cytoskeleton, it kind of works with the cell wall, and it provides strength. Oh, I'm not typing, so let's write provides strength and shape to the cell. It's kind of like bones for the cell. Remember we talked about how humans would look if we didn't have bones? We said we'd be kind of like big blobs. So that is kind of the bones that the cell has to give it strength and shape. Number 23 is our lysosome. And remember, we kind of said that the lysosome, let's go find it up here real quick. These orange pieces on my paper, they're like little circles. The lysosome is like the garbage dump of the cell. It handles waste, so it breaks down waste materials. So it's kind of like the dump of the cell. Let's put in quotations, garbage, oops, I don't know if I could spell, garbage dump. It's where all the waste is handled. It's the garbage dump of the cell. Okay, number 24, mitochondria. Those are the little bread baskets right here. There's a piece of bread here. There's one here. They are known as the powerhouse of the cell. The powerhouse of the cell. Write this down. When I say powerhouse, guys, this is where all the energy is produced. And I'm going to go back and put powerhouse in quotations. Powerhouse of the cell. Make sure you put your quotations on your paper as well. This is where all the energy is produced. Produces energy. Okay? Powerhouse of the cell produces energy. Number 25 is the vacuole. Okay? The vacuole is on our example right here at number 4. In a plant cell, the vacuole is rather large. We talked a lot about this yesterday, about what happens if you don't water your plants. Your vacuole won't have enough water in it, and your plants may shrivel up and die. So, let's see here. We're just going to simply write stores water for the plant. Oh, not plant, silly. Mrs. Chaparro, this is a cell we're talking about. Okay. Make sure you hit pause if you need to get that written down correctly. There should be no spelling mistakes because everything on my page is spelled correctly. Last but not least are the chloroplasts. Now, chloroplasts are only found in plant cells, okay? So the chloroplasts are right here in our example, right here and right here. Now, you must realize that chloroplasts are only found in plant cells, and they produce something called glucose for the plant. So let's write down the function. And glucose, guys, is kind of like food for the plant. Let's write only found in, oh goodness, found in plant cells, produces glucose which is food for the cell, period. Okay, so produces glucose, which is food for the cell. So glucose is very common. It's something that humans worry about. If you have a relative or someone you know who might have problems with their own glucose in their body, this is very common. It's a type of sugar, and this is what the plant uses for food. Actually, it fuels the cell, and of course, if the cells have fuel, so does the plant. Then the plant is able to grow and go through what we call photosynthesis, which we won't be talking about in detail right now, but we will in the future. Okay? So, here's our plant cell. Make sure you have everything copied down as you see it on my page. If you have any questions, let me know, and I'll see you next time. See you guys. Bye.